Hi all, today's session is about emulator, Android virtual device. What is emulator and the role of emulator? നമ്മളൊരു ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ആൻഡ്രോയിഡ് സ്റ്റുഡിയോയിൽ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നമ്മളത് ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് നോക്കണം. ഒരു മെത്തേഡ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ടെസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാൻ ടാർഗറ്റ് ഡിവൈസ്, അതായത് നമ്മുടെ മൊബൈൽ ഫോൺ. ഫിസിക്കലി നിങ്ങൾ USB പോർട്ട് വഴി കണക്ട് ചെയ്യും. ലാപ്ടോപ്പിനാവാം, ഡെസ്ക്ടോപ്പിലാവാം. ദെൻ ആഫ്റ്റർ ദാറ്റ് നിങ്ങൾ ടാർഗറ്റ് ഡിവൈസിൽ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്ത് ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്ത് നോക്കാം. ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്തതിന് ശേഷം ഇൻസ്റ്റാൾ ചെയ്യാം. ഓക്കെ, അപ്പോൾ കറക്റ്റായിട്ട് ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസും ബട്ടൺസും കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ എന്ന് ചെക്ക് ചെയ്യാം. ബട്ട് ദിസ് ഈസ് നോട്ട് ആൻ ഈസി മെത്തേഡ്. സോ അതിനൊരു വേറൊരു ഈസി മെത്തേഡ് ഉണ്ട്. അതായത് നിങ്ങൾ മൊബൈൽ ഫോണിൻ്റെ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ എന്താണോ, അതായത് മൊബൈൽ ഫോണിൻ്റെ സ്പെസിഫിക്കേഷൻ എന്താണോ അതിനനുസരിച്ച് ഒരു വെർച്വൽ ഡിവൈസ് നിങ്ങൾ വർക്കിംഗ് ഡിവൈസ് തന്നെ ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുക. സോ അതൊരു റിയൽ മെഷീൻ അല്ല, വെർച്വലി ക്രിയേറ്റ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു മെഷീൻ. ഈ ഒരു വെർച്വൽ മെഷീനെയാണ് എമുലേറ്റർ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്, ആൻഡ്രോയിഡ് വെർച്വൽ ഡിവൈസ്, or in short AVD. It's a configuration that defines the characteristics of an Android phone, tablet, Wear OS or Android TV device that you want to simulate in the Android emulator. The AVD Manager is an interface you can launch from Android Studio that helps you create and manage AVDs. An Android virtual device contains a hardware profile, system image, storage area, skin, and other properties. Typically, an emulator enables host system, that is your working machine, in order to run the software design for the target system. The system designed പറയുന്നത് ഇവിടെ ആപ്ലിക്കേഷൻ ആണ്. നിങ്ങൾ APKയിൽ ആൻഡ്രോയിഡ് എമുലേറ്റർ ഇൻക്ലൂഡ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കണം. An Android emulator is an Android virtual device that represents a specific Android device. You can use an Android emulator as a target platform to run and test your Android applications on your PC. Using Android emulator is optional, and it is a well-known performance issue that Android emulators are extremely slow, and thus the developers generally use a physical device to test the application. A use of the emulator is that the application can be tested in various screen size and configurations. Next is hardware profile. The hardware profile defines the characteristics of a device as shipped from the factory. And the AVD Manager comes preloaded with a certain hardware profile such as pixel device, and you can define or customize the hardware profiles as needed. And the next is storage area. The AVD has a dedicated storage area on your development machine. It stores the device user data such as installed apps and settings, as well as an emulated SD cards. If needed, you can use the AVD Manager to wipe user data, so the device has the same data as if it were new. And the next is skin. Emulator skin specifies the appearance of a device. The AVD Manager provides some predefined skins. You can also define your own or use skins provided by third parties. Next is creating AVD. If you want to emulate a real device, first create an AVD with the same device configurations as real device. Then launch this AVD from AVD Manager. And how to changing the orientation is usually by default when you launch the emulator. Its orientation is vertical, but you can change it orientation by pressing Ctrl plus F11 key from the keyboard. For example, like this. First launch the emulator, then once it is launched, press Ctrl plus F11 key to change its orientation. Okay. And the next is emulator comments and description. Here, home shifts to main screen, F2 toggles context sensitive menu, F3 bring out call log, F4 end call. And the next is F5 means search. F6 for toggle trackball mode, and F7 power button, and F8 for toggle data network, and control plus F5 ring volume up, and control plus F6 ring volume down. Next is emulator sending SMS. You can emulate sending SMS to your emulator. There are two ways to do that. You can do that from DDMS, which can be found in Android Studio, or from Telnet. Next is emulator making call. You can easily make phone call to your emulator using Telnet client, and you need to connect your emulator from Telnet, and after that you will type this command in the Telnet window to make a call. Its syntax is given below: GSM call 1234. Okay, next once you type this command, hit enter. Now look at the AVD. You will receive a call from the number you put in the comment. And next is transferring file. You can easily transfer file into the emulator and vice versa. In order to that, you need to select the DDMS utility in Android Studio. And next is UI screen components. A typical user interface of an Android application consists of action bar and the application content area. Main action bar, view control, content area, split action bar. Next is styles and theme. A style is a collection of attributes that specify the appearance of a single view. And a style can specify attributes such as font color, font size, background color, and much more. A style can be applied to an individual view or to an entire activity or application. And next, a theme is a type of style that's applied to an entire app, activity, or view hierarchy, not just an individual view. Next is extend and customize a style. When creating your own style, you should always extend an existing style from the framework or support library so that you maintain compatibility with platform UI style. And to extend a style, specify the style you want to extend with the parent attribute. You can then override the inherited style attributes and add new ones. And next is how to apply style as a theme. You can create a theme the same way you create styles. The difference is how you apply it. Instead of applying a style with the style attribute on a view, you apply a theme with the Android theme attribute on either the application tag or an activity tag in Android manifest XML file. Next is content providers, SQLite programming. A content provider manages access to a central repository of data. You implement a provider as one or more classes in an Android application along with elements in the manifest file. Although content providers are meant to make data available to other applications, you may of course have activities in your application that allow the user to query and modify the data managed by your provider. Next is steps to build the provider. Design the raw storage for your data. A content provider offers data in two ways: file data, structured data. Define a concrete implementation of the content provider class and its required method. This class is an interface between your data and the rest of the Android system. Next, define the provider's authority string, its content URIs and column names. If you want the provider's application to handle indents, also define indent actions, extra data, and flags. Also define the permissions that you will require for applications that want to access your data. And add other optional pieces such as sample data or an implementation of abstract threaded sync adapter that can synchronize data between the provider and cloud-based data. Some methods are there: query, retrieve data from your provider, and use the arguments to select the table to query, the rows and columns to return, and the sort order of the result. Return the data as a cursor object. And next, insert of method. Insert a new row into your provider. Use the arguments to select the destination table and to get the column values to use. Returns a content URI for the newly inserted row. Next update method, update existing rows in your provider, and it's use the argument to select the table and rows to update and to get the updated column values and return the number of rows updated. Next, delete method, delete rows from your provider. Next, application. SQLite database is an open source lightweight relational database, and SQLite database is used to store data in structure format. And by structured data, we mean schema, tables, rows, columns, indexes, and so on. SQLite database comes embedded within Android operating system. And SQLite database is used by Android applications to store data in private database.